Hey there, Inspiro fam. Today we're diving into the incredible life of a Hollywood legend, Sylvester Stallone. From a kid who faced rejection and hardship to the unstoppable force behind Rocky and Rambo, Stallone's journey is a roller coaster of grit, determination, and heart. He turned his struggles into a story that inspired millions, proving that you can rise from the bottom to the top with nothing but belief in yourself. So, get ready to step into the ring with a man who fought for his dreams and came out swinging. Let's explore the life of Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone was born on July 6, 1946, in the gritty neighborhood of Hell's Kitchen, New York City. His early life was anything but easy. During his birth, a complication with the forceps delivery damaged a nerve in his face, leaving him with a partially paralyzed lip and a speech impediment, features that would later become his trademark. His parents, Frank and Jackie Stallone, struggled financially, and their rocky marriage didn't help. Frank, a hairdresser, and Jackie, a dancer, often fought, leaving young Sylvester and his brother, Frank Jr., caught in the crossfire. By age 5, Sylvester's parents split, and he spent much of his childhood bouncing between foster homes in Philadelphia while his mum worked to make ends meet. The instability took a toll. He felt unwanted, often acting out in school and getting expelled multiple times. At 15, he landed in a remedial school for troubled kids, where he discovered a knack for football and acting. But life was still tough. With a drooping lip and a slurred speech, kids mocked him, calling him Sylvester or worse. Those taunts hurt, but they also lit a fire in him. "I knew I had to prove them wrong," he later said. Stallone found solace in physical fitness, lifting weights in his teens to build his body and confidence. He also started dreaming of the movies, inspired by heroes like Steve Reeves in Hercules. After high school, he enrolled at the American College in Switzerland on a partial athletic scholarship, where he began writing scripts and acting in small plays. When he returned to the US, he studied drama at the University of Miami, but dropped out just shy of graduation to chase his acting dream in New York. By his early 20s, Stallone was broke, taking odd jobs cleaning lion cages at the zoo, ushering at a theater while auditioning for roles. Casting directors often rejected him, saying his face and voice were too different. But Stallone refused to give up, determined to make his mark. In the early 1970s, Sylvester Stallone was a struggling actor in New York, barely scraping by. He and his first wife, Sasha Chak, lived in a tiny apartment, often unable to pay the rent. To survive, Stallone took any gig he could find, including a small role in a softcore film, The Party at Kitty and Studs, for $200-something he later called a desperate move. He landed bit parts in films like Bananas, 1971, with Woody Allen, but nothing substantial. Casting agents kept telling him he didn't have the right look for leading roles, and his speech impediment made things harder. Frustrated but determined, Stallone turned to writing as a way to create his own opportunities. He'd spend hours at the library, scribbling scripts by hand because he couldn't afford a typewriter. In 1974, he got a small break with a supporting role in The Lords of Flatbush, starring alongside a young Perry King and Henry Winkler. The film gave him some exposure, but Stallone wanted more. He wanted to be the star, not the sidekick. That same year, he moved to Los Angeles, hoping Hollywood would open doors. It didn't. He faced rejection after rejection, often hearing, "You're not leading man material." Then, in March 1975, inspiration struck. Stallone watched a boxing match between Muhammad Ali and Chuck Wepner, a little-known fighter who went 15 rounds against the champ, defying all odds. Stallone saw himself in Wepner, a nobody who refused to quit. Over the next 3 days, he wrote the first draft of Rocky, pouring his own struggles into the story of an underdog boxer who gets a shot at greatness. When he finished, he knew he had something special. But selling the script wouldn't be easy. Producers loved the story, but wanted a big name like Burt Reynolds or Ryan O'Neal to play Rocky Balboa. Stallone stood his ground. "I wrote it for me. I am Rocky." That stubborn belief in himself was about to change everything. Sylvester Stallone's script for Rocky caught the attention of producers Irwin Winkler and Robert Chartoff, who offered him $360,000 for the rights of fortune for someone who had just $106 in the bank. But there was a catch. They didn't want Stallone to star in it. He turned down the offer, even though he and Sasha were so broke they had to sell their dog, Butkus, because they couldn't afford to feed him. "I'd rather starve than let someone else play Rocky," Stallone said. His persistence paid off. The producers eventually agreed to let him star, slashing the budget to $1 million and giving Stallone a shoestring salary of $35,000. Filming Rocky in 1976 was a grueling 28-day sprint. Stallone threw himself into the role, training for months to look like a real boxer running up the steps of the Philadelphia Museum of Art, a scene that became iconic. He even brought back Butkus, casting him as Rocky's dog in the film. The movie was raw, heartfelt, and real, mirroring Stallone's own fight for a shot at success. When Rocky hit theaters in December 1976, it was a knockout. Audiences loved the story of an underdog who never gives up, and Stallone's performance as Rocky Balboa won hearts. The film grossed $225 million worldwide and scored 10 Oscar nominations, winning 3, including Best Picture. At 30 years old, Sylvester Stallone had gone from a nobody to a Hollywood star overnight. He became a symbol of the American dream, showing that hard work and belief in yourself could beat the odds. But fame came with pressure. Everyone expected him to keep delivering hits, and Stallone knew he couldn't rest on his laurels. He'd fought to get here, and now he had to fight to stay. How inspiring is Stallone's journey from broke to blockbuster with Rocky? Let us know what you think in the comments. If you're loving this story, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to Inspiro, and hit that bell so you don't miss what's next. What's your favorite Rocky moment? Share it below. With Rocky's success, Sylvester Stallone became a household name, but he wasn't done dreaming big. In 1978, he wrote and directed Paradise Alley, a drama about wrestling brothers in 1940s New York, and followed it with Rocky II in 1979, which he also directed. The sequel was another hit, grossing $200 million, cementing Rocky Balboa as an enduring icon. But Stallone wanted to show he could do more than play a boxer. In 1982, he took on a new role that would define his career: John Rambo. Based on the novel First Blood by David Morrell, First Blood introduced Rambo as a troubled Vietnam War veteran who fights back against a small-town sheriff. Stallone rewrote the script to make Rambo more sympathetic, turning him into a symbol of the struggles veterans faced. The film was a gritty, action-packed success, earning $125 million and launching a franchise. Rambo. First Blood Part 2, 1985, took it to another level, with Stallone's Rambo returning to Vietnam to rescue POWs. The movie tapped into 1980s patriotism, grossing $300 million and making Stallone one of Hollywood's biggest action stars, alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger. But behind the scenes, Stallone's personal life was rocky. His marriage to Sasha Chak crumbled under the pressures of fame, ending in divorce in 1985. He had 2 sons, Sage and Sergio, but Sergio's autism diagnosis added emotional strain. Stallone threw himself into work, writing and starring in Rocky III, 1982, and Rocky IV, 1985, which became the highest-grossing film in the franchise at $300 million. He was on top of the world, but the constant grind was taking its toll. Stallone had built an empire, but he was about to learn that even empires can stumble. Late 1980s and early 1990s were a mixed bag for Sylvester Stallone. While Rambo III, 1988, made $189 million, it didn't match the success of its predecessors, and critics panned it. Stallone tried to branch out with comedies like Oscar, 1991, and Stop, or My Mum Will Shoot, 1992, but both flopped hard, with audiences unable to see him as anything but an action hero. "I felt like a punchline," Stallone later admitted. His personal life took hits too. He married model Brigitte Nielsen in 1985, but the highly publicized marriage ended in a messy divorce 2 years later, fueling tabloid drama. Financially, Stallone was still a heavyweight, commanding $20 million per film by the early 1990s, but his career was losing steam. Then came Cliffhanger, 1993, a mountain-climbing action thriller that grossed $255 million and reminded everyone what Stallone could do. He followed it with Demolition Man, 1993, a sci-fi hit with Sandra Bullock, showing he could still draw crowds. But the failures kept coming. Judge Dredd, 1995, and Daylight, 1996, underperformed, and by the late 1990s, Stallone's star power was fading. Hollywood started to see him as a relic of the 1980s action era. During this time, Stallone faced personal struggles as well. His relationship with his son Sage was strained, and he felt guilt over not being there enough as a father. He remarried in 1997 to Jennifer Flavin, with whom he had 3 daughters, Sophia, Sistine, and Scarlett. But the weight of his career setbacks was heavy. Stallone knew he had to dig deep to find his way back. "I've been down before," he said. "I know how to get back up." That resilience would soon lead to a comeback no one saw coming. By the early 2000s, Sylvester Stallone was in his 50s, and Hollywood had largely written him off. But Stallone wasn't ready to hang up his gloves. In 2006, he returned to his roots with Rocky Balboa, the 6th film in the franchise. He wrote, directed, and starred in the movie, which showed an aging Rocky coming out of retirement for one last fight. The film was a love letter to fans, capturing the heart of the original while reflecting Stallone's own journey of perseverance. Against all odds, Rocky Balboa was a hit, grossing $155 million and earning critical praise for its emotional depth. Stallone didn't stop there. In 2008, he brought back Rambo for a 4th film, Rambo, set in war-torn Myanmar. The movie was a brutal, bloody return to form, earning $113 million and proving Stallone could still deliver action at 62. 2 years later, he launched The Expendables, 2010, an ensemble action film he wrote, directed, and starred in alongside Jason Statham, Jet Li, and other stars. The movie was a nostalgic nod to 1980s action flicks, grossing $274 million and spawning a franchise. Suddenly, Stallone was back on top, showing the world he still had plenty of fight left. On a personal level, Stallone found stability with Jennifer Flavin and their daughters. He became more open about his struggles, including his guilt over his strained relationship with Sage, who tragically passed away in 2012 at age 36 from a heart condition. The loss hit Stallone hard, but he channeled his grief into his work, using it to fuel his performances. "Life isn't about how hard you can hit," he'd often say, quoting Rocky. "It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward." In his later years, Sylvester Stallone continued to evolve. He earned critical acclaim for reprising Rocky in Creed in 2015, a spin-off where he played a mentor to Apollo Creed's son, Adonis, portrayed by Michael B. Jordan. Stallone's performance as an aging, cancer-stricken Rocky was raw and heartfelt, earning him a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor and an Oscar nomination, his first since 1977. Creed grossed $173 million, and its success showed that Stallone's legacy could live on through new stories. He returned for Creed II, 2018, further cementing his place in cinematic history. Stallone also kept the action alive with The Expendables 2, 2012, and The Expendables 3, 2014, though the latter underperformed at $214 million. He took on smaller roles too, like in Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2, 2017, showing his versatility. In 2022, he starred in Tulsa King, a Paramount series about a mafia boss starting over in Oklahoma. The show was a hit, earning Stallone some of the best reviews of his career and proving he could still captivate audiences at 76. He also produced Samaritan, 2022, a superhero film showing his willingness to experiment. Through it all, Stallone stayed grounded, often reflecting on his journey. He became a painter, showcasing his art in galleries and a philanthropist, supporting causes like veterans' charities. His faith grew stronger, and he often spoke about the importance of family, especially his bond with Jennifer and their daughters. Stallone had come full circle from a kid who couldn't catch a break to a legend who redefined what it means to never give up. Sylvester Stallone's career spans over 5 decades, with more than 70 films and $4 billion in global box office earnings as of 2025. But his true legacy isn't in the numbers, it's in the lives he's touched. Rocky and Rambo became cultural icons, inspiring generations to fight for their dreams no matter the odds. The Rocky Steps in Philadelphia remain a tourist landmark, with fans running up them to recreate that iconic moment. In 2023, Stallone released a Netflix documentary, Sly, which gave an intimate look at his life, earning praise for its honesty. Today, at 78, Stallone continues to work, with projects like Tulsa King Season 2 in development. He's a grandfather, cherishing time with his family, and a mentor to young actors, often sharing the lessons he's learned. Keep punching, no matter what. His influence is everywhere, from the boxers who credit Rocky for their drive to the filmmakers who see him as a pioneer of the underdog story. Stallone's journey reminds us that success isn't about where you start, it's about the heart you bring to the fight. He turned his struggles into stardom, proving that with grit and belief, you can write your own story. Sylvester Stallone's journey from the streets to the stars is nothing short of epic. What's your biggest takeaway from his story? Drop it in the comments below. If you love this ride, give it a huge thumbs up, subscribe to Inspiro, and hit that bell for more stories of legends who never gave up. Who's your favorite Hollywood icon? Let us know, we might tell their story next.